I'm John Sperzel, President and CEO of T2 Biosystems. I'm recording this message to communicate directly with our stockholders prior to the company's June 25th, 2021 annual stockholder meeting to highlight the significant progress we have made in executing on our strategy, discuss the importance of the proposals in this year's proxy, and explain why we are asking shareholders to vote in favor of all the proposals. If the proposals do not pass, we strongly believe it will hinder our ability to advance on our growth trajectory and cause additional disruptions and unplanned costs. Today's comments will include forward-looking statements. Those include statements related to T2 Biosystems' future financial and operating results and plans for developing and marketing new products. Forward-looking statements are based on estimates and assumptions as of today and are subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ materially from those expressed or implied by these statements, including the risks and uncertainties described in T2 Biosystems' annual report on Form 10-K filed with the SEC on March 31st, 2021, and other filings the company makes with the SEC from time to time. The company undertakes no obligation to publicly update or revise any forward-looking statements except as required by law. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, we made meaningful progress toward our mission to fundamentally change the way medicine is practiced through transformative diagnostics that improve the lives of patients around the world. We are laser focused on driving the adoption of our novel products to become the standard of care for treating patients at risk of sepsis, improve patient outcomes, reduce the threat of antibiotic resistance, drive long-term sustained growth for the company, and create stockholder value. In 2020, we achieved total revenue of $18.1 million, an increase of 118% compared to the prior year. We sold 57 T2Dx instruments, including 47 in the United States, which more than doubled our US instrument installed base and achieved annualized US sepsis test utilization of $86,000 per instrument, an increase of 72%. Our growth continued during the first quarter of 2021 as we achieved total revenue of $7 million, an increase of 173% compared to the prior year period, and increased US sepsis test utilization to $111,000 per instrument. Our team successfully developed and launched a COVID-19 molecular diagnostic test, the T2 SARS-CoV-2 panel. We made meaningful operational improvements, and we continue to make outstanding progress advancing our new product pipeline, including T2 Resistance Panel, Comprehensive Sepsis Panel, Next Generation Instrument, and BioThreat Panel, all of which receive funding from the US government or BARDA. We have built a clinically focused US sales team to drive the adoption of our products, received a multi-year innovative technology contract from Vizient Inc., which includes our sepsis products and provides access to 50% of US acute care hospitals and 95% of US academic medical centers, and hired an experienced chief medical officer to raise awareness in hospital laboratories and strengthen our value proposition through the development of clinical and economic data. To facilitate the continuation of this momentum and pave the way for future success, the company must maintain a corporate infrastructure conducive to growth. Two of the proposals, which I will describe, are crucial for updating the corporate structure to support our business efforts moving forward and important to our continued competitiveness in the market and success as a company. They are the charter amendment to increase the number of authorized shares of common stock and the amendment and restatement of the company's incentive award plan. Our board of directors has carefully considered these proposals, acknowledging their fiduciary duty to stockholders, and believe they are reasonable and necessary to address the company's needs. Number one, the charter amendment to increase authorized shares of common stock. Under the company's current charter, the number of shares of common stock outstanding, in addition to shares reserved for equity plans and outstanding warrants, leaves limited shares remaining for strategic opportunities, financing activities, or attracting and retaining the most talented employees. We are asking stockholders to approve an increase to the number of shares to allow the company to continue to operate in its normal course, including without limitation, financing activities, public or private offerings, stock dividends or splits, conversions of convertible securities, issuance of options and other equity awards pursuant to our employee benefit plans, establishing a strategic relationship with a corporate partner, and acquisition transactions. If this proposal is not approved, the company will either need to adjourn the annual stockholder meeting in an effort to secure additional support for the proposals, or will need to call another stockholder meeting to approve an alternative amendment, each at avoidable additional expense and distraction to the company. And just to be clear, if this amendment is approved, it will not, without further action of the board, have an impact on the number of shares of common stock currently outstanding, and therefore will not by itself have a dilutive effect on existing shareholders. Number two, the amendment and restatement of the company's 2014 Incentive Award Plan. The current plan was adopted several years ago, and changes in tax laws have eliminated the need for a limit on the aggregate size of awards that may be granted to an individual under the plan. Instead of removing the limit, we are asking stockholders to approve an amendment to the plan to increase the limit, among other changes, which we believe will better allow the company to attract and retain the best talent. It is an expectation in this highly competitive labor market that top talent will be awarded equity to align their interest with stockholders and share in the progress the company makes toward its long-term goals. If this proposal is not approved, the company will be severely restricted in its ability to use equity and will have to consider utilizing precious cash resources in place of equity awards, or face challenges attracting and retaining some of its most talented employees. We believe these proposals are imperative for creating a path forward for long-term sustained value creation. In fact, they are vital to the company's ability to continue its operations as contemplated without significant interruption or expense. Regardless of your opinion toward management or the current share price, we're in this together, and we need your support to provide the company with the ability to achieve future success. Before casting a vote, please take time to consider if the company will be able to continue to operate in the normal course or to attract and retain talented candidates if these proposals are not approved. In closing, I will remind you of our opportunity to change the sepsis standard of care. Today, sepsis is the #1 cost of U.S. hospitalization, costing nearly $62 billion annually, and the #1 cause of death in U.S. hospitals, claiming nearly 270,000 lives each and every year in the United States. By those measures, the current standard of care, which relies on positive blood culture and broad empiric protocols to administer antimicrobial therapy, must be improved. T2 Biosystems has the first and only FDA-cleared technology to identify sepsis-causing pathogens directly from whole blood in just 3 to 5 hours, which is a significant improvement compared to blood culture. As a sepsis survivor, I understand the positive impact our products can have for patients, hospitals, and the broader healthcare system. And I assure you that our team is committed to creating long-term stockholder value. Thank you to all of our stockholders for your consideration and support in voting for these critical proposals so we can continue to execute on our mission to improve the lives of patients and their families around the world.